Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'll tell you what, folks, I've been watching General Hospital long enough to know when a showdown is about to turn into something special, and this one has that feeling. The moment I heard Sonny Corinthos was walking straight into a trap on July 1, I leaned forward in my chair. That's usually when the writers start setting up a twist that nobody sees coming. What really caught my attention was Carly Spencer asking Danny Morgan and Charlotte Cassadine to contact Sonny if she doesn't check in by 8 p.m. That's not the kind of detail they throw into a story for no reason. In my experience, when a character sets up a backup plan like that, trouble is already waiting around the corner. And then there's Jen Sidwell. Lord have mercy, this man just doesn't know when to quit. Even after getting a chance to escape thanks to Cassius Faison, it sounds like Sidwell refuses to leave without facing Sonny. That tells me this isn't just business anymore. This feels personal, and when things get personal in Port Charles, somebody usually ends up regretting it. I'm especially worried about ADA Justine Turner. If Sidwell is really using her as bait, that's a dangerous move. The spoilers say her life is about to be in danger, and I can't help thinking she may become the spark that pushes Sonny over the edge. I've seen Sonny angry before, but when innocent people get dragged into the mess, he tends to react first and ask questions later. Now here's the part that has me smiling a little. The July 2 spoilers say Sonny is going to reveal information that Sidwell never expected. Well, I'll be darned, that sounds like the kind of moment fans have been waiting for. Sidwell has spent a lot of time acting like he's 3 steps ahead of everyone else. Watching someone like that get blindsided is one of the great pleasures of a soap opera. My gut tells me Sonny may already know more than Sidwell realizes. Maybe he's been letting Sidwell think he has control. Maybe this trap is only half the story. Either way, I don't believe Sonny is walking into this confrontation completely unprepared. A man who has survived as much as Sonny has doesn't stay alive by being careless. What I enjoy most about this storyline is that it finally feels like the tension is paying off. We've watched the Sidwell threat build for weeks, and now the pieces are coming together. Carly at Windermere, the backup message to Danny and Charlotte, Cassius helping Sidwell escape, Justine in danger, and Sonny heading straight toward another confrontation. That's the kind of setup that makes me want to grab a cup of coffee and say, all right, ABC, let's see what you've got. And honestly, if Sonny truly has a secret powerful enough to shock Sidwell, I think July 2 could end up being one of those episodes fans talk about for a long time. Sometimes General Hospital saves its biggest punch for the moment when the villain thinks he's already won. That's exactly the feeling I'm getting here, and I can't wait to see whether Sonny delivers the surprise of the summer. I just can't shake the feeling that Sidwell is standing on the edge of discovering the one truth that could completely change everything he believes. He's already cut ties with Ross Cullum, and I think he finally realized that the partnership wasn't worth saving. But here's the thing that keeps running through my mind. He still doesn't know the most important piece of the puzzle. He has no idea that Cullum was the man behind the deadly attack that cost Marco Rios his life. If Sonny is the one who finally lays that truth out in the open, then I honestly believe Sidwell is going to feel like the ground has disappeared beneath his feet. The more I think about it, the more I believe Sonny won't simply throw out an accusation. That doesn't sound like the kind of confrontation this story has been building toward. I can picture Sonny calmly forcing Sidwell to connect every piece for himself. Sometimes the truth hurts a whole lot more when someone doesn't have to yell it. If Sonny can prove that Cullum manipulated everyone from the shadows while pretending to be an ally, then Sidwell won't have many places left to hide from reality. And that's the part I find so fascinating. For weeks, Sidwell has acted like he was always one move ahead, always convinced he was the smartest man in the room. Well, folks, life has a funny way of humbling people. I have lived long enough to know that confidence can disappear in a heartbeat once the truth finally catches up with you. If Sonny reveals that Cullum orchestrated the attack on Marco, then Sidwell will be forced to look back at every decision he made and wonder how he missed the warning signs. What really gives this story emotional weight is the fact that Marco didn't lose his life because of a random twist of fate. If Sonny is right, then Marco became another victim of Cullum's greed and manipulation. That's the kind of revelation that stays with a person forever. I honestly believe Sidwell will replay every conversation he ever had with Cullum in his mind, searching for the moment when he should have seen the betrayal coming. Those memories can become a prison, and I wouldn't wish that feeling on anyone. At the same time, I don't think Sonny is trying to make himself look like the hero. That's one reason I've enjoyed watching this character over the years. He knows he has made mistakes. and he has plenty of enemies for good reason. But there are moments when the facts matter more than old grudges, and this feels like one of those moments. Sonny may simply be telling Sidwell something he desperately needs to hear, whether Sidwell wants to accept it or not. Of course, none of that means Sidwell will suddenly let Sonny walk away, not after everything that has happened. Deep inside, I think Sidwell still carries the promise he made to Marco about avenging Natalia Ramirez's death. Promises made through grief have a way of taking on a life of their own. Even when the facts point in another direction, the pain doesn't just disappear. That's why I can still see Sidwell wanting Sonny to pay, even if Sonny wasn't truly responsible for Natalia's death. Grief doesn't always listen to reason, and that's something I've seen time and time again. But if Sidwell learns that Cullum has been lying to him from the very beginning, then his anger may finally find its real target. In my opinion, that would be far more satisfying than watching another fight between Sonny and Sidwell. Seeing Sidwell realize that the man he trusted was actually the one who destroyed so many lives would be a punishment far worse than any fistfight. Some betrayals leave scars that never heal, and I believe this could become one of those unforgettable moments. Then there's Ross Cullum himself. I have to admit, I don't think he's as untouchable as he believes. People like Cullum usually think they can manipulate everyone forever, but sooner or later, every lie begins to fall apart. If Sidwell discovers the truth, Cullum may suddenly find himself without allies, without protection, and without anywhere left to run. That's the kind of downfall I've been waiting to see, because villains who create chaos often forget that chaos eventually turns against them. Now let's talk about Sonny for a minute. We already know he's going to survive this confrontation, so I'm less interested in whether he lives and much more interested in how he escapes. That's the mystery that has me hooked. Sonny has spent years getting out of impossible situations, and somehow he always finds the one opening nobody else notices. Maybe he anticipates Sidwell's next move. Maybe he has information no one expects. Or maybe he simply understands his enemy better than his enemy understands him. Whatever the answer is, I have a feeling it won't be as simple as pulling a gun or throwing a punch. I also keep wondering if ADA Justine Turner is about to surprise everyone. Right now, she's dealing with dangers of her own, and it would be easy to assume she's completely out of the picture. But General Hospital has fooled me before. Some of the biggest turning points have come from characters nobody expected to step forward. If Turner manages to escape her own crisis, I could absolutely see her becoming the unexpected reason Sonny makes it out alive. Sometimes one decision from the least expected person changes the entire course of a story, and this feels like the perfect opportunity for that kind of twist. The more I look at all these moving pieces, the more convinced I become that this isn't just another showdown between two powerful men. This feels like a story about betrayal finally being exposed. It's about guilt catching up with people who tried to outrun it. It's about realizing that the greatest enemy isn't always standing across the room. Sometimes the person who destroys everything is the one who stood beside you all along, smiling while secretly pulling every string. That's exactly why I'm looking forward to these next episodes. I don't think the biggest shock will come from a fight or an explosion. I think it'll come from the moment Sidwell realizes the truth has been staring him in the face all along. And once that happens, I have a hard time believing anyone involved will ever be the same again. The secrets are getting too heavy to stay buried. The betrayals are too painful to ignore. And I honestly believe General Hospital is about to deliver one of those unforgettable stretches that keeps fans talking long after the credits roll.